Ian Sinclair. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. This is a great con. It's big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very big.
It's a big con.
This is your largest con you've been to?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's definitely, the biggest venue, I believe. That's a huge room. I'm staring off into the dealer room, and this is huge. So, yes.
Okay, cool. Last time we got a chance to talk to you was MatsuriCon 2011. How have things been for you since then?
Awesome. I've had a couple really good years of voicing stuff and blowing up my voice and screaming and all that kind of stuff. It's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. Recently, you were cast on Legend of Legendary Heroes.
Yes.
What is it like to work on that project?
That Legends is by far, to date, the best thing I've ever done with my voice. Reiner Lute is a very special character to me, and I love it. And so buy it and watch it. It's good, I promise. It's a very smart show, and it's a political drama, and it's one of those that you got to kind of watch in large chunks to really understand what's going on. But when you do, it's this really deep, immersive world, and I'm a huge fan, and I love Reiner. He's hilarious.
Did you enjoy the show, doing the show more because of the thinking aspect of it?
Yeah, it was a really smart show, and Michael Tatum was one of the writers on it, and so I got to talk to him a lot because we're good friends, and so hi, Tatum. So we got to sit around and talk about it, and he would just calm me up, and we would talk for hours about Reiner and where he's coming from, and both of our thoughts on it, and it was great. And I got to do some self-directing on that and really go crazy trying to get my head around him, and I love Reiner.
Okay, cool. You're also in a new show, Princess Jellyfish.
I am, yeah.
The show tackles some ideas concerning the LGBT community. What was it like working on that project?
That show was so much fun, and it was actually really special for me because my brother is played by my old roommate, Josh Greeley. So, and he plays a guy who talks like a lady and dresses like a lady. So he would come home, and he'd be talking about doing the show, and then he'd be practicing in the other room, and he'd be doing this high-pitched voice, and it'd sound like a girl was in the other room, and I just, Josh, and yes, it was awesome. And Chris Bevan's a great director, and it was nice to do a part like Shu. That was a very different part for me to play. I usually play very loud people, and he was very quiet, very, yeah.
New mystery show filled with unexplained deaths is Shiki.
Oh yeah.
What was it like working on this one?
That was awesome. I really liked that show. I wear onesies all the time, and it like with leopard or something like that, and this blue hair with these ears. It's a really dark show, but my character, it was cool because he was one of those villains that is, it's kind of a villain. You root for the vampires, but you don't, and he was one of those villains that will just be like, "Hi, what's your name? So good to meet you. You want to go play? My friends are gonna eat you." And I love him for that. Like, he was really cool to play. And Mike McFarlane, I got to, that was one of the few times I really got to work with him, and that dude can direct, so that was a lot of fun.
Okay, now your most excited role and project, Black Butler Season 2.
Yeah.
At MatsuriCon, you announced the second season. What has it been like for you and the rest of the cast to get out and talk about the second season?
Oh, everybody's just been, it came out, like a month ago, and the reception has been amazing. People have just loved it, and I'm glad because we threw our everything into it. It was really cool for the actors to come back to those roles because you got to imagine they do it, then they sit around for 6 some odd months saying, "Oh, I wish I could talk about this," and running around in their dialect and kind of telling their friends and family about it. And then it comes out, and then they get to go to cons, and then they do that accent, and then they get to talk about it. And then they're asked a lot of questions about it at these cons, which then makes them analyze their characters deeper and form opinions on it. So when they came back to the roles, it was each of them had a richer understanding of their characters, and they were able to watch the first season. So they had a greater understanding of context, and so the returning characters just blew my mind. They each of the actors, we slightly modified some of the dialect and some of the pacing of some of them because we realized that certain characters, like some of their best aspects, we wanted to highlight. So that was wonderful. Lucy Christian and Jason Douglas in this thing are mind-blowing, and I got to direct them, which was just insane, and they were amazing. Scott Freeman is the triplets in it. He did great because we got to do 3 different voices with him. And actually, some of my favorite thing to do about Black Butler 2 were the OVAs. I kind of went crazy on them, and like the making of OVA is one of my favorite parts of that season. It's bizarre, but it's funny.
Now, directing aspect, was it easier when you went with season 2 as opposed to season 1?
Oh yeah, yeah. Season 1 was the first thing I'd ever done, and so I spent a lot of time worrying about technique and does this fit and technicalities. Second season, I understood more where the borders were and how I can get right up to them, sometimes push boundaries, and add things in. There were things about the first season that I really wish I had done, so I added in, like, I made sure Sebastian said, "Yes, my lord," like, repeatedly. I was like, I'm going to throw that in every time I can, because I just love it when he says it. And yeah, I had great engineers throughout the entire process, but each of them were very different, and so they gave me different tools, and I felt I had a better grasp on it. So that mixed with my insane amount of anticipation for this, it was a great experience. It's one of my professional highlights. I really loved it.
Okay. And you also participate in live action every once in a while?
Yeah.
Does live acting help you as an actor when you're doing live action, voice acting, I would have to say?
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, I find that voice acting is starting to make me a better live on-camera actor because, well, that and the directing aspect, I got to kind of sit back and look at episodic stuff. And, yeah, and you get to start to understand the big picture because as an actor, you normally you worry about, these are my lines, what am I going to look like, what do I need to do? But it really helped me figure out context, and so yeah, I think it's helped me.
Are there any current or upcoming projects you can let the fans know about at this time?
I'm Chuck in Panty and Stocking. I'm a little dog that goes Chuck, 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 and it's awesome. Like, I love that show. It is filthy show, but it is hilarious. And yeah, I'm a little psychotic dog, and that was a blast. Actually, one of the harder things I've had to do because he just says the word Chuck over and over. So it's like, okay, you have to say Chuck 49 times in the next 30 seconds, and okay. And so yeah, it was awesome. I'm a big fan of that one. You guys are gonna enjoy it. It's dirty.
Anyway, fans can keep up with you on the internet, and a final message for your fans.
Both of those things. I'm getting better at Facebook, so I'm working on that. Yeah.
Final message for your fans?
Final message. Legends, Butler. Love them, buy them. Thank you.
Ian, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Good talking with you, man.
You as well.
Take care.
Take care.